It's a Thursday night on Green Flag TV. That means one thing, it's time for the Average Joe's Sim Racing League. Welcome everyone, my name is Derek Watson, up in the booth here for the Average Joe's Sim Racing League in the Grill Master Series. Behind the booth tonight is Nolan Ripple pushing the buttons and making everything look and sound good in the broadcast. Well, a schedule change this week, not the initial plan. We thought we were going to travel to Rockingham, but not too far away. We've settled and said, hey, you know what? Let's go to Charlotte instead. Let's go to the home of NASCAR. So here we are live at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, formerly the Lowe's Motor Speedway for about 10 years, but this beautiful mile-and-a-half facility, about 10:30 p.m. virtual sim time on a fairly cool track, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll be a beautiful, grippy racetrack all night long. Well, qualifying is in the midst of happening right now, about a little more than halfway over is qualifying. So you'll see some cars maybe going around the track here and there, but most of the field, I believe, has already set their time. So welcome in tonight to the Highline 150. Well, before we get to our racing action, and actually we're going to cop here. This is going to be one of our cars here tonight. We'll watch this going up to the Nike Jordan brand and see if he's currently setting a time. It's a 7 car. I think he just finished in 29th. That is going to be Brad G right there. All right, well, let's do this. Before we get into the racing action tonight, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors for tonight. We'll start with the series sponsor, the Grill Masters Series. So at Grill Masters, they understand that the passion hunters, wildlife enthusiasts, and deer farmers have for creating thriving deer populations. The deer mineral supplements are carefully formulated to provide the essential nutrients that deer need for optimal health, antler growth, and to attract them to your property. Whether you're looking to promote year-round health or encourage larger antler development, their products deliver unmatched quality and results. Once again, thank you to Grill Masters for sponsoring the series. Also, thank you to tonight's sponsor, the Highline 150. Highline Racing is a premier team of oval track drivers dedicated to mastering the art of high line racing. With a passion for speed and precision, their drivers expertly navigate the track, utilizing the upper groove to gain a competitive edge. Elevate your racing spirit with Highline Racing, where every turn is a testament to skill and determination. We'll see if we get up there cool. They have a cool graphic for the Highline 150 as well. We'll see if that's going to pop up here in a minute. But again, I want to thank you to Tyler Smith and his team at Highline Racing for sponsoring the Highline 150. All right, well, it looks like the qualifying is ended. Race control has given their command. So let's go ahead and look at tonight's Average Joe's Highline 150 starting grid. On the pole, Jonathan Dominic's number 49 car is next to Fred Chase in the 94. Moving on back to P3 is Terrence Murphy, and he's next to Willie Smith, the number 75. Larry Blair, the second in the number 5, is next to Doug Ivy in the 55. Justin Day is going to be in that 101 car next to the 87 of Blake, or there's going to be the 82 of Blake Ward, back in P8. P9 is Roger Thomas in the 02 next to Tyler Smith, one of the members of Highline Racing in that number 1 car. Steve Linger is back in P11, and he is next to Michael Harrington in that Budweiser machine. Justin McCurdy is back in P13 next to Stephen Blevins back in P14. P15 belongs to Blake Hewlett, and he's next to Joshua Holt in that epic number 52. The Hertz Renner car number 32 of Ryan Castleberry is next to Josh Revel in the 20, back for 17th and 18th. Then we got back to row 10. Austin Oliver is in the 23, and he's next to John Sheen in the 01. Travis Hunt in the 40 lines up next to Jeffrey Petty in the 42 for 21st and 22nd position. Then they got Art Milne next to John Miles, 23rd and 24th. A couple M names there caught me for a second. Michael Weaver and Jason Rushing round out the next row, row 13, 25th and 26th. Jacob Watson in the 4 is next to Mike Presley in the 100, back to 27, 28. 29th is Brad Gee. He's next to Bridger Webb in P30. Kevin Burns is in 31st with Aaron Ingersoll all the way back in P52, number 3 car. Corey Moore's in 33rd with Russell Heaton Sr. back in 34th in that Coca-Cola machine. 35th, 36th, the last one we got, Patrick McFarland He is a Canadian native, and he is next to Brian Cook, who barely made this race. We'll talk about that later, all the way back in the field. That is a look top to bottom at tonight's starting grid. Well, here we go. Jonathan Dominic is going to lead the field around. You see that number 49 leading the field. You got Fred Chase on the outside. Jonathan, how about the Canadian flag? Maybe for Canada Day, same as our current green flag TV logo on the YouTube channel. Notice that here. But the pace truck pulls down. And for the first time tonight, the restart will happen on the green flag. We're happy with us on a Thursday night. Thanks for stopping in. And green flag is out at Charlotte. Dominic's Chase Murphy, 1, 2, 3 as they come out in turn 4. You see the pass attempt by Chase at the line. It's going to be close. It would be Dominic's right there at the line. Leads the first lap, but under attack here. In fact, now possibly the pass can be made to the bottom, trying to make it stick. Who tracks out better will be the question. And no, Dominic did not get the run I thought he was going to get. So like in the turn 3 and 4, it will be Fred Chase. Let's watch it here. Dominic's got a great run up to the top of the corner, and these guys are side by side. But look behind him, Murphy, Smith, Ivy, and others. We're going to benefit from this side-by-side racing. That gap is going to close a little bit as the leaders fight side by side. This time by, Chase does have the advantage on the bottom. Needs to track out so he can cut off that run. Oh, man, they got close, but not really. But Chase with the fastest lap, not a surprise, taking the lead here, down to 3 and 4. Now starting to slowly open a gap, but boy, Dominic's is dominant in 3 and 4 and side by side again for the third time they're going to be. And oh, that would be close if it were the race lead. Looks like it's going to be, I think Dominic's at the line, but boy, this is just a dogfight up front. Meanwhile, on back, looking at the back of the camera, you'll see they're starting to single file out. Fred Chase has now cleared Dominic's. Dominic's tries the undercut. Now let's go move to the bottom. Dominic's now on the bottom. Now this top lane at Charlotte, this top lane does have some effects of being faster. It is a faster line. It does prevent your opponent at times from making the pass, but not that time. Dominic's and the Tim Hortons Canadian car takes back the lead. Chase, of course, won last week, coming off that momentum of that race at Bristol. And let's go ahead and see if he can secure himself yet another win in the Average Joe's Racing. This is back for P7 on the board. This is going to be Larry Blair, Michael Harrington, Tyler Smith, Blake Ward's up ahead of that battle. So a bunch of cars all jumping at 2, almost 3 wide. Ooh, at the line. That is not the part of the track where you want to be 3 wide. That feels super narrow in that car. That car in the top there, that black and red car, that's Blake Ward in the 82. Then you got Larry Blair in the white and blue. Then you got Michael Harrington in that 8 car. And then Tyler Smith, that very bright white and sort of bluish hue to it coming through. Oh boy, there's a car up in the wall. That's gonna be, I believe, Doug Ivy in the 55. And boy, he is tight up against Blake Ward and now pulls at the bottom of the track. That could have been really bad right there. But we stay green, we stay racing for this 100 lap race. We're already in the lap 7. Remember, the admins came in this week and decided maybe they wanted to have a race with a potential cleaner run than Rockingham, a very bumpy, offsetting track. So they moved it to Charlotte. They turned the race down to 100 laps, and so far we're about 10% through, and it's a very good run. And move back to the front of the battle here. This is Fred Chase is now taking the lead back again from Dominic's, but look at that. Story maybe Terrence Murphy. Look at how much Murphy has closed that gap. It's now down to about 0.2 of a second for Terrence Murphy. See right in his windshield. He has the best seat in the house. Oftentimes, as commentators, we call ourselves the first spectators, but at least for the moment, Terrence Murphy might be battling us for the best seat in the house as far as spectating this race for the lead here, as you can see everything that's going on. This week was a big week for Average Joe's. The league admins committed to really having good quality racing, made a lot of positive changes, made a track change made some roster changes this week, helping to maybe clean up some of the racing from the incidents from before. So a very positive week, a lot of happy faces, a lot of happy voices that I got to talk to in the Discord today and this week because of those changes. Boy, look at this battle on back. Look at it through the field. This is just amazing again and again and again. Just how much they really are battling. Whether that's Brad Gee up there and that's the Nike or the Jordan theme. That's got Austin Oliver right behind him in the black and red. Then that's going to be Art Milne and Kevin Burns on back. This is the battle for 24th on track. Brad, of course, one of the drivers I like to enjoy watching from time to time. He does do his own Twitch streaming, so sometimes if I need a different perspective on the race afterwards, you can go check out Brad and see his Twitch stream and kind of what he thought of the race as it went on, so you can see different perspectives from these drivers from time to time. But this track, of course, was said basically the home of NASCAR, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Very, very close. A lot of the teams, R&D centers or garages or whatever they may have, and so a lot of drivers. Hold on, one through the infield there, and that's going to be the 40 of Travis Hunt. And you know what? Good job by Travis. Got it slowed down, let it travel through the grass. Did not try to move it back up the track. Going to leave a bunch of spots here, but he'll get it safely back on track. Let's watch a replay and see what happens here. That's going to be him already through the grass. Let's see if we can try it again, see if we can find what caused the source of that. Coming down through turns 3 and 4. Is this going to get loose? Oh, up in the wall. Yeah, very tight. I got the wrong prediction there. But again, that's a masterful job right there of going through the infield. That sounds silly to say it, right? Like you don't want to be good at the infield, but you do. Because the wrong move for Travis Hunt there would have been to pull it up in front of the field and try and save it. And maybe have made it worse here up front. Now this is going to be Jonathan Dominick's getting passed by Terrence Murphy. There's also Willie Smith going around. So a car that was dominant at first and Jonathan Dominick's now having a very tough time spinning it back. That's going to be Bridger Webb spinning it back, but we're going to stay clean there. So no yellow. Oh yeah, there's Tyler Smith up on the wall. Let's watch this. I saw this from the back of different cameras of Bridger Webb. Let's wait and see if we can find a replay of it here. See what's going to happen. He's going to have the 87 below him. He's going to have Corey Moore in the PBR. Oh, not sure if maybe Corey got a little slower. Maybe he's scrubbing the wall. You see Castleberry made a little bit of contact, and there's Bridger Webb. Stay off the pit road. I think he does. Yeah, that would have been a penalty for unsafe pit exit had he touched the pit road, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, never mind. Now hearing in my ears, he has a black flag, so he may have just barely tipped or touched the tip of pit road and got that penalty. So unfortunately for him, he'll have to come down. He comes serving it right here. This is a little early. Depending upon the penalty, what it's going to be, probably likely a green flag stop and hold if it's an unsafe pit entry. So we'll wait and see if he comes down to his pit box here. Very slow speed here. Yep, there he comes down in. Might as well put gas in the car. Likely no tires to serve that penalty. Nope, never mind. Going to go ahead and change the tires, I guess. If you're down here, you might as well go ahead and commit to it fully. Your Bridger Webb. The battle right around P20 in the moment. This is the number 78 car. Having a pretty great battle. There you see Brad Gee in the background. So this is the battle for 21st. So that's John Milnes, Joshua Holt, Brad Gee, Jason Rushing's up ahead of this group. So see that epic car. One of the sponsors previously in the season. And Joshua Holt having a pretty good run here. But these cars right here are just doing a pretty great job at staying single file compared to this group right here. Very different. This is Stephen Blevins and others, and they're just kind of battling side by side, back and forth, having it out. Update on Bridger Webb, as far as I can tell, maybe still on pit road. And no, he's done. He's out of pit stall, so I think it's a very long hold, possibly, or a drive-through. We'll wait and see if he comes back down again, but a 40-second pit stop is what I counted, I believe, for Bridger Webb. So unfortunately for him, that'll be pretty detrimental without a caution or two to assist him on by. Here he comes down pit road again. So yeah, it may have been a drive-through. He probably wasn't supposed to stop the first time, but he may have thought that he was coming down. Why not get off pit side? Why not get the new tires, the gas, and maybe something positive works your Speedway. Here up front, this is Blake Ward on the bottom. That's Jonathan Dominic's up top. Dominic's is now falling back to the battle for P5. And boy, it's close. And Tyler Smith and others are really kind of making that push there. And boy, again, I say it, this Charlotte front straight, that little quad oval, the dog leg, whatever you want to call it, from an in-car perspective, it looks tight too wide. There's no way I'd ever want someone to push me 3 wide there in that moment, but away they're going to go. Tyler Smith now gets a massive run up top, uses that top lane, closes the gap pretty well up to Dominic's, backs it out a little bit. And that's going to be Larry Blair on the bottom. We're going to go on board here. This is Tyler Smith. Watch this dog leg here. It doesn't look quite as wide as it does from the up top views when you're in there, but he's trying to avoid making contact with Dominic's, trying to avoid the contact with the wall again. He made a big contact with the wall here on the back straight earlier. But boy, this little track blockage, a little bit of piece of traffic, is just driving Tyler Smith crazy. There's a good look at the new dashboards, by the way, for the next gen cars. You can see now the new lights, the new lines, and there is no more variance. Everyone now runs the same dashboard in iRacing, so no variance. Everyone sees that same view. You see a shift light, you see the shift markers, and different factors. Here's Larry Blair down to the bottom of Jonathan Dominic. There's Tyler Smith on a round, and I think next in line would be even Justin Day, another Highline Racing member, trying to make this pass. So boy, whatever Dominic's had earlier, I don't know if this is dirty air in the car. Not sure if he just pushed too hard and burned up some tires on the car or what happened, but he's quickly gone from the lead down to P8. Speaking of the lead, that's still a great battle happening up front, by the way. There's Fred Chase, there's Terrence Murphy. These drivers right now still just a 1/10 of a second apart as we're now working lap 23. Coming to the beginning of 24, we're now almost 25% of the way through this race, and these guys are still that close together. Now, in the Average Joe Sim Racing Grill Master Series, the fuel tanks are limited. They're about half of a regular fuel tank, so that means that you're not going to get the longest run out of these cars, so it won't be long before pit stops start happening on a green flag for the first time. A little bit of wall smoke from Terrence Murphy, nothing to speak of. About a 1/4 of a second difference here, but I suspect probably within, I would think, the next 10 laps, if we stay green, everyone will have to do green flag pit stops here at Charlotte. Look at that. Terrence Murphy, little by little by little. You see the green numbers on the bottom, means he is faster each time by. Here's a car down pit road. So we can see this cycles of pit stops already starting to creep their way through. I believe this could be Steven Linger back in P30. Oh boy, my goodness. There's Tyler Smith apologizing to Blake Ward, saying, my bad, didn't mean I squeezed him up in the wall. Maybe it's a tight race car. And then there's Dominic's on back in that Canadian Tim Hortons machine. Blake Ward pulls on away. Racing continues. Boy, I just want to know what happened to Dominic's. I mean, it's got to be just pushing too hard and maybe scrubbing those tires. That was a big point I heard drivers talk about in, hold on, caution's out. We'll come back to that topic in a second. For the first time tonight, there it is. That's Fred Chase. That's your former, that's not Fred Chase, that's Art Milne. Sorry, name tag got me. That's Art Milne spun around. Right around lap 26, that will bring out our first caution, right near your first set of pit stops. So that likely will go ahead and cause full sail pit stops. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened to Art. Got a car behind him. Let's see if he's gonna, no contact, I don't think. Whoa, it's getting closer and closer and closer. Yep, nope, never mind. False call. There's contact there. And that white and blue car and Art Milne came together and they spun it on the racetrack, and that will bring the caution out. Going to replay again, see a different perspective of it, and there's at full speed. Yep, just went on around in front of the field. No reason that wouldn't be a caution here. So The 100 car by Race Control has deemed to be at fault. Not a surprise there. That seemed pretty intuitive. And here we go. This will be our first time tonight. Everyone, for the most part, down pit road together. This will be good news, possibly for Bridger Webb, by the way. We'll make sure he gets his lucky dog, or see who does. Might be Steven Linger. We'll wait and see who stays out here. So Fred Chase, Terrence Murphy, Willie Smith, Michael Harrington, and others down pit road. See the timers on your screen. I would expect to see these, I think with 4 tires, probably right around the realms of, I think, 13 to 14 seconds. Maybe down in the 12s. We'll see what we get here and what our par is going to be for the night. With the shorter gas tanks, let's see if anyone plays with the pit stops and does something different. The times are ticking up on your screen there. Look at Terrence Murphy, already up 14 seconds on the dot. 14.6 for Fred Chase, but Murphy not able. Oh no, Murphy went up more. Sorry, 15.1. So Fred Chase, oh, that's going to be a black flag. That's likely a black flag for Fred Chase. That was too much on the track. You cannot merge until you come across this cone here in just a minute. There's the blue cone on the bottom right of your screen. And I'm going to guess in a second we're going to find out. There's a penalty. If that's not a penalty, yeah. So I say that's textbook right there. That's, yep. So you go from the penthouse to the outhouse for Fred Chase. Yeah, Mike Presley's we get into the line. That'll be for the cause of the accident. That'll be a different black flag, but still the same idea as we come on around. Well, Bridger Webb, Travis Hunt was also 1 lap down. They stayed out of this caution, as does, I believe, Austin Oliver. Was a lap down, so a few cars will get a lap back here when we get the 1 green message. Which is now, by the way. I think Josh, no. So a couple cars will get their lap back. So as of right now, I think all cars still running, which is 38 of them. Right now, according to timing and scoring, I'm showing 32 of them, I think, on the lead lap. So we'll get those official numbers. Once the wave rounds happen here, we'll see how they all scored. A couple of these guys are getting their lap back right now. So that's going to put Bridger Webb. Remember, he had that penalty earlier under green for touching pit road. We'll see what that lines him up. He's going to be 3 laps down. So you got one of them back. Bridger Webb's probably the driver most hoping for cautions as this night goes around. But again, so Travis Hunt got his wave around. I believe it will be 1 lap. It's showing 1 lap down. We'll see. Sometimes it takes timing and scoring a minute to update when everyone crosses the line here. But again, now it's Murphy, Smith, Harrington, Blair, and Dominic, your top 5. Dominic's fell off in the first run. Will it happen again? We're going to find out here in just a moment. As the pace truck pulls out, it's in the hands of Terrence Murphy. So those blue Geico signs on the outside wall. That's when he can press on the loud pedal and cause us back to green flag racing at Charlotte. Hold on, that's quick. Caution right there. It's going to be Travis Hunt and Joshua Holt, I believe, in the 52. We'll see if anyone else is involved. But that was quick. So that will bring out an instant caution. The pace car will come back out. They'll catch it this time around, I believe, though not instantly. Yeah, Kev confirmed the leader, and we're being told they'll go all the way around and find the pace car. So let's see what happened first. Travis Hunt, I think, just spun the tires. I think this maybe got a little. Remember, one of the drivers just stayed out. Oh, Holt just barely got tapped right in the back there. So with Hunt a lap down, I believe Austin Oliver may be your lucky dog. Oh, hold on. I miscalled it. I apologize for the review we had. It looked like maybe Hunt spun the tires. That's not the case. There was a checkup in that line, and that's what Race Control has confirmed as well. So This is interesting because I don't know who's going to get the lucky dog here, because Austin Oliver, the 23, is being deemed at cause for the wreck, for the checkup. He was probably in the lucky dog spot. I don't know maybe who didn't make contact there. There may not be a lucky dog on this caution. Well, let's do this. Let's take a moment and try and get a word with one of our drivers in the field. And let's see if we can find someone we don't typically talk to, and see if we can kind of vary that up a little bit here. Let's see if we can grab Jonathan Dominics here. We'll come in into the broadcast booth in just a second. Driver with the Gazoo Racing. Gonna move him here. So gonna welcome in Jonathan Dominics to the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Well, Jonathan, we're under caution for the second time. First off, I gotta tell you, I love the Canadian Timmy's paint scheme.
Thank you.
I guess I don't have to ask. I guess I know you're a Canadian native based upon the paint scheme. But I do want to ask you about the race start initially. You had a great battle with Fred. And then it felt like you kind of fell back. Was it just dirty air? Did you burn the tires off? What happened to you?
Yeah, I think I just burned the tires off a little too quick. Tire saving definitely isn't my strong suit.
All right, well, now this time by, you're going to get to start back in P4 after the very quick caution for the wreck in the back of the field. So what's your plan here for the second stint?
Maybe take it a little bit easier in the corners and see if I can hang around top 5, and at the end strive for first.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, I'll give you a chance here. Is anything you want to say? Do you want to sing the Canadian National Anthem? Do you want to talk about poutine? Do you want to maple syrup, polar bears, anything to celebrate Canada Day?
No, thank you.
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll put you back with your teammates. Good luck the rest of the race.
Thanks.
All right, that's part of Gazoo Racing. That is Jonathan Dominics with that Tim Hortons Canadian Maple Leaf paint scheme. You see him up there in the second row. Well, we're going to try and rack him up again. A very quick, I dare you even call it a start, a restart, with how fast the yellow came out. It's Murphy, Smith, Harrington, Dominics, and Tyler Smith, your top 5. Blake Ward back in P6 up top. Rest of your top 10, Stephen Blevins, Justin Day, John Sheen, and Roger Thomas will round out your top 10. You'll see a couple drivers just trying to entertain themselves, trying to kind of rattle the car back and forth. Doesn't really have the effect in iRacing that it has in real life. Doesn't do much or anything for the tires as far as tips or scrubbing off any dirt. Just kind of like it keeps you entertained. Kind of makes you feel good, kind of breaks the monotony, breaks the boredom. Does something for the driver. Well, this is our third restart of the night. The iRacing Pace Truck is leading us through turns 3 and 4. As I said last time, once we get to the blue Geico signs on the wall, it's up to Terrence Murphy to press on the loud pedal, and that's when we go. We'll see if we get a better run this time and what may happen. We're starting lap 35 of 100. Glad once again you're with us here live on Green Flag TV. Here we go. Any moment now, Terrence Murphy presses the pedal, and he has, and we're Green Flag Racing. Pretty massive jump for the leader. And everyone up front really kind of spreading out pretty quick. You see Tyler Smith's clear, Dominic's is clear. Your first side-by-side battle is back behind them for Stephen Blevins and Justin Day. Now they've single filed it out. So now again, at this point, your top 10, I believe, all single file here at Charlotte as the battle happens a little deeper in the field. That's Bulls, car spinning. That's the 0-2 of Roger Thomas. There's a big hit to the 4. That's going to be a caution. We'll need to wait and see what. Oh my golly. Oh, there's a late hit. How do you not see that? Well, we're going to wait and see what may have caused that spin from the 0-2 to happen. I'm curious who that late hit was as well, because that seemed, well, late. Maybe a word for it. Well, Roger Thomas has gone to the pit road. Let's wait and see the replay. It's going to be Blake Hewlett on the bottom. He just comes up and tags the back end of Roger Thomas, spins him around, and that blue and yellow car is going for a ride. So here's the rest of it. Watch, this is going to get toast. Oh, there's the 4. He had nowhere to go. That 4, no reaction time. Watch these cars going right between the 4 and the 0-2, though. I mean, one of them right here, 2, 3, 4. My goodness. And there's Brian Cook. Weirdly enough, league admin on lead admin action right there, I'm pretty sure, as far as that lead hit. Watch it one more time in real time. There it is. Oh, boy, the Ford has had nowhere to go. I mean, again, this is caught. Well, Blake Hewlett, no surprise, has been tagged for the end of the line. He'll be tagged for the cause of the caution. He will move to the end of the line for this restart. This will be our best view of how close this got. Boy, oh boy. Before again, that just looks painful. But watch this here, how close it gets. There's a car going by in the bottom. Couple this one, right? This is one of our Queen City Motorsports cars, I'm pretty sure. Gonna kind of thread the needle. There's gonna be Corey Moore coming on through on behind. Larry Blair's down on the grass. He'll avoid it that way. Boy, oh boy, here's a little bit of contact right here, by the way. That's the 23 and the 34. They're both trying to avoid the wreck. No harm there. That's Austin Oliver and Fred Chase. Wasn't the 34, sorry. Well, you see some pit stops are happening. Brian Oliver obviously down pit, or Brian Cook, sorry, down pit road, obviously getting some repairs done, as is John Miles and others. So some drivers are going to probably opt for a little bit of top off of fuel here. And hey, why not? That fuel could mean something later. Stephen Linger is being given a black flag as well. Not sure what that's about. I want to go ahead and also say hello to everyone out in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for hanging out there, buddy. Austin Norris is out there. Leon, 67 Sports. I see Danny Jackson's out there. Jen Richards. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out in the YouTube chat. Please let us know how you're joining the race or who you're hoping wins tonight, and be supportive of your favorite drivers as we're under caution once again. Well, let's do that since we are actually at the Highline race here. You know, we're one to go. We'll talk to Tyler Smith on the next caution. I don't like doing interviews of one to go, especially not at this track. Maybe a Dega, a Pocono, you know, a Watkins Glen, but one to go here will go pretty fast. Once Murphy, Harrington, Smith, and Dominic's your top five. Willie Smith and Tyler Smith. So AMR and race control reminding the drivers in the back of the field, you need to get up here and get close to the field. Look at that, there's a couple cars. That's Blake Hewlett coming around. That's why he's further back. But those gaps in the back of the field are known to cause a problem here or there. So race control, again, making it a point to talk about it, making it a point to focus on it, and make sure there's no instant cautions once we go green. We are now almost a third, almost 40% of the way through this race. Moving pretty quickly here tonight in Charlotte. Terrence Murphy led a bunch of laps here. Most of them, well, recently under caution. But we'll see what happens next. In the restart zone we go. The gas pedal gets stepped on. And green flag is back in the air. Well, I'm not sure if Murphy went or if Harrington didn't, but regardless, a big jump there. Now it's going to put a couple cars here up to the front pretty quickly. That's Willie Smith on the bottom fighting for P2. That's Tyler Smith in the white and blue fighting for P3, P4. Jonathan Dominic's trying to make his way back through. Smith, oh boy, and Harrington almost 3 wide down the back straight. Tyler Smith backs out wisely before we get to turn 3. Avoids the calamity that could have occurred, but that stayed 3 wide. Back through the field, you see Stephen Blevins here, by the way. That's going to have Justin Day. He's fighting with side by side. Yeah, it is Justin Day, sorry. Back behind him, Doug Ivey in the 55. So this is the first set of 2 wide racing. This is back for P7 on back you're looking at right here. And look at that traffic jam. That's what 2 wide racing causes at Charlotte. A lot of drivers get jumbled together. Drivers get impatient. And then it gets fun. Side by side, new fastest lap, by the way, set by Tyler Smith, trying to run down the leaders. And Tyler up to P2 as he has set the fastest lap of the night. See him up top in the top of your screen there. Up top is Smith trying to make the pass, trying to see what he can do. Can he take the lead? I believe this will be his first time leading laps, at least in a few races, if not this season. Tyler really started off this season just not having a bad races, just maybe getting involved in other people's incidents and kind of having bad finishes. Look at the eyeballs, look at the focus there. Tyler Smith, that's a pretty deep, long stare from the virtual driver. Tyler Smith, by the way, one of the drivers who answered the question of the day in the Discord for the average Joe Sim Racing. We discussed what kind of apparel do you wear when racing, socks, shoes, or barefoot. Tyler, with maybe the most interesting answer of the day, says he road races with shoes on and oval races barefoot. That confused me. I made a comment about it in Discord. I was like, that's odd, Tyler. Like, the fact you do it different. He says it's all about feeling the haptic feedback and feeling just different. So then he came to me before the race and said, hey, just so you know, I put socks on tonight. And I was like, well, okay. I wasn't judging, but you do you know. So we talked about it and had fun. But yeah, lots of drivers. Obviously, socks was the majority winner today in the poll. I think over 2/3 of the league voted socks. A couple shoes drivers, a couple barefoots in there, but for the most part, team socks all the way. Hold on, caution's out. And I don't have a car number yet. I think it's going to be the 52 and the 4 I'm hearing upset. Oh, there's a car turn around. So that's going to be John Miles in 69. But I'm hearing maybe some upset drivers with the 4 of Jacob Watson. So we'll wait and see what may have happened and who's mad at who and who's right and who's wrong. The replay will be the determining factor. Watch this here on track. What's going to happen? There's a car up top. Oh, that is the 4 that they ran the backups. We might need to back that up and watch the 4, see why he's slow and what happened there, because that's likely the cause of the caution. Let's try this at speed. Let's watch this replay this way, see what's going to happen here. There's the 4. Oh, maybe he got bumped here. No, that's a bad rejoin. You can't do that. You got to do better. You got to slow it down. You got to get off the gas. Oh boy. Well, now I know why the 52's upset. Now I know why the 69's upset, because I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a hard thing to do to get that rejoin correctly. Watch it again here. This is going to be from Austin Oliver in the 23. And watch the bottom of your screen come up. Oliver slows it down and then goes back up top at the last second. Yeesh. Now, Jacob Watson contends he was bumped and that's what got him loose. Later in the day, we'll see if we can determine that to be true. There goes your lucky dog on around. That, I believe, to have been... I'm not sure what that was. We'll get a word on that. Let's go back to the replay. Let's see if we can find from the rear end of Jacob Watson who's going to hit who here. Nice. Yeah, that's not maybe our best camera angle, but again, this is the problem right here. This coming back up, and Charlotte's a difficult track. It's so bumpy down there in that area. It's wow. So hearing word from race control being told it's the 100. So both cars at fault according to race control. This is interesting. The 100 and the 4, both cars. This is the 100 second penalty tonight. This will be a drive-through penalty for the 100. The 4 being given the end of line. The justification is that the 100 started the incident, but race control believes that the 4 could have done a better job on the merge, on the rejoin. So race control has deemed both, and I like that call. It's, you know, I think part of the point of this league for average Joes has been about development and teaching moments and what you can do there. And so sometimes you have to have moments like that where you teach both people. Here we are, 1 to go again Tyler Smith is now your race leader. Terrence Murphy's in second. Dominic's and Harrington third and fourth. Ward and Willie Smith fifth and sixth. Then John Sheen, Stephen Blevins, Doug Ivey, Michael Weaver round out your top 10. Well, here we are now. We're going to start lap 49 when we go green flag. So almost halfway through this race here. This race is cruising right along. We've seen some good bits of green flag racing. Of course, we've seen a couple cautions here and there, but not much of any negative. You know, a couple small incidents, but this is a tight racetrack. Those kind of things are going to happen. Can't do anything. You're hanging out here live on Green Flag TV. Derek Watson up in the booth. Nolan Rimple pushing the buttons and making it look good. Now, for the first time tonight, in the hands of Tyler Smith as we get to that Geico restart zone, and the green flag is back out. Car will pit from the back of your screen this time by, that's for that drive-through penalty for having a second incident of the night. But up front, it's Smith, Harrington, Murphy, Dominics, and Smith, your top 5. Oh, there's Blake Wilker contact. Boy, that's going to be another caution, and they almost got it saved. Big check up in the corner. That was Stephen Blevins. And John Sheen made the contact. Let's watch it again. There's going to be Blevins on the bottom and a metal yellow machine. Let's see who moves where. And there we go, back to full speed. Does Blevins move up? Does Sheen move down? Our car moves down in front of Blevins. Blevins basically to the blue line. We've not heard from race control yet, but that seems pretty simple, in my opinion. Boy, look at both these guys. I mean, look at Blevins, look at Sheen. I mean, overall, a great job with a couple of saves. I mean, that could have been massively worse. Let's watch it in full time here. The car come down. Maybe it's not where Blevins is down there, I don't know. So the 3 car there by this Aaron Ingersoll, I believe, in that white and blue. All right, we are now halfway through this race. Well, let's do this. I promised it. Oh, hold on, I got a couple pit stops here. This is going to be Murphy. Stephen Blevins, of course, coming down. That's not a surprise. Watch this late call for pitting, by the way, from John Sheen. That's about the last possible second you can make that call. And, well, not with the penalty. The barrel's right there. Could have been your new best friend. All right, well, I promised this earlier. Since Highline Racing is sponsoring tonight's race, let's see if we can get word from someone from Highline Racing. Let's go and talk with our race leader. And we're going to give him a second, because I can tell you right now there's a bit of a conversation happening. And I think we're going to be okay now. Oh, there's currently a debate on track about restarts and bumping, so I want to give Tyler Smith a second to air that out. But, all right. So 0-1 is going to be deemed at the cause for that caution. I think now we're good to bring Tyler Smith in to the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Well, Tyler, if not for the first time this season, for the first time at least in a few races, you're leading the race. How does that feel?
It feels nice. I like the clean air. It's pretty chill. It's nice up here. I was talking in the chat, so I wasn't ready for this, but no, it's nice up here.
Do you want to explain? I can hear it, but do you want to explain to the crowd at home maybe what the concern is currently?
Yeah, so pace car comes out, pace speed's 55. We're supposed to get up to the pace truck and everybody run bumper to bumper to bumper. And second and third, or I mean, it's really just second, holding everybody else back. But they're like 10 cars behind me, so, you know, if I drive past pit road, they got a good 5 seconds to decide if they want to pit or not and kind of leave me out to dry. So it's just a little, a slightly unfair advantage if you ask me. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, a change of momentum this season. Obviously, you started the season having a couple unfortunate races that's caught up in other people's messes. So at least a positive moment to be leading right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to stay up here, so.
All right. Well, obviously not the same track. I'll share with the crowd. You shared with me earlier. You've won, what, is it 3 official races in 4 days? Is that what I heard today?
Oh, yeah. I got the Cup win at Pocono, Xfinity win at Pocono. I tried for the truck and couldn't get it, and then did one Atlanta race in the Cup car and won it yesterday. I led 47 of 50 laps, so I'm on fire, but it's gonna come to an end soon. Hopefully not tonight.
Hopefully not tonight. Well, I'll put you back to your Highline team. Good luck the rest of the night. Maybe we'll talk later.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that is Tyler Smith, part of Highline Racing tonight. Sponsors for the Highline 150. Kind of airing some grievances, but had a good week. If you can win 3 official races in 4 days, that's a pretty hot streak to be on. And he's going to lead the field back around into that blue Geico restart zone. He steps on the pedal, and we're green flag racing. Bookie Smith gets the run, moves up in front of Michael Harrington, and now controls the field. On back, this is Dominic's, and I believe that to be fighting for 4th. You see it now, the ticker up top has changed. Now instead of counting the laps up, we're counting down. For a driver, that's a big mindset difference, right? When you start to go down the laps, now it's almost harder not to be impatient as Fred Chase almost caught the side of that car right there. That would have been Justin Day in that black and purple that he would have caught there right behind Fred Chase, but or excuse me, now right behind Fred Chase, I should say, right behind Doug Ivey and Blake Ward. This is the battle on screen for P7, Ward, Chase, Day, Castleberry. These 4 drivers and more fighting for that spot. Up front, there's Tyler Smith. Tyler now being passed by Michael Harrington on the bottom. Can Harrington make it stick? That'll be the question right now, side by side. Typical logic tells us that Smith will have the advantage off the corner, better run, better momentum, and he does, as now Harrington falls back in line. Third and fourth, that's Willie Smith, that's Jonathan Dominic's fight right there for P3, P4. A little bit of close battle back here. This is like ants scattering back here. Ivy, Ward, Chase, and more. This is the battle on screen right now. This is the closest we have at the moment. Back here a little different. Doug Ivy, oh, contact. I thought it was Castleberry, maybe scrubbed the wall back there. But Ivy was going to get the run off the corner, but does not. Try it again. He's going to try and make the run once again, and this time he does complete the pass. Up ahead of Mike Keith. Boy, lots of battles happening all around the course. Trouble Hill, look at that. The 87 Brian Cook's involved. I see that car, the 4-car Watson. There it is piling in at this point. My goodness. The 100 is involved again. And more. Well, let's wait and see what happened in replay and maybe see where the cause of this is. A lot of upset drivers in the radio. And up top right there, it's going to be the 3 and the 87, I believe. Let's wait for another replay look. There's already a car spun around. I apologize. There's one spun up ahead. Let's try one more time here. All right, let's see. This is going to be the cause of the caution. Man, so many cars involved here. And where is it going to come? That's the 15. Gets spun around. I believe the 9 just hit him and kind of moved. So that would be the 9 of Blake Hewlett. The 15, Art Milne. And look at this. Then the 87 gets involved. The 4, one of the Queen City Motorsports cars is involved. I mean, there's, I think, Jason rushing back there, I believe. See Bridger Webb trying to avoid it with all he could. Boy, that's going to be a big wreck here on lap 58. Oh, look, some of these guys, I mean, it's just hard at some point to get checked. Corey Moore barely got a bit of that wreck. Oh, I see Stephen Blevins went way to the bottom. He avoided it barely. So this will be the second assigned penalty from race control for a cause of caution on the 9 tonight. This is going to be under debate from the 9 and the 15. But, yeah. It's not going to be on the 9. So drive-through penalty, second caution of the night on the 9 car. That is the word from race control. Let's go on board the 9. The 9 is making the claim he doesn't feel as though he's the cause of the caution. So let's wait and see if we can find that moment. See if we can make a determination on the broadcast. Here it is. There's the 9 on board. Oh yeah, he just ran the 15 over. I mean, there's a difference in speed there for sure, but you have to be aware of your surroundings. Watch Stephen Blevins here, by the way. This is the one I called out a second ago. Gosh, one more wrap on that paint this morning. He'd have been in a much different spot. I think he is currently. That's how close that was. That was scary. Yeah, I mean, the 15, I kind of understand where the 9's coming from a little bit, which is that 15 feels way off pace in that corner for some reason. But you still don't have, gosh, man, they just kept piling in. You still don't have the right or the privilege just to run someone over. Well, what's going on here is pit stops have happened. So right now this is going to be a bit confusing on the screen, I believe, because Hewlett has not pitted, nor has Justin McCurdy. So those are the front 2 cars right now. Hewlett, of course, is going to move to the back end of line, or actually it's going to be a green flag drive-through. Actually, what's going to happen, sorry for Hewlett. So even if he starts up front, once we go around, he's going to pull down here and have to do a drive-through. The thing that throws me the most off about that is that when you do a drive-through, you can't pit. That's not how that penalty works. So he last pitted on lap 47. That's going to be about 15 laps ago. So you'll need to pit later in this race, but he's decided to stay out front. So McCurdy pitted about 10 laps ago, as did John Sheen. That's the car in the bottom in the second row. And then on back, Tyler Smith, Harrington, Dominic Ward, Ivy, so on and so forth, pitted this time by. Well, for the first time tonight, Big Hewlett has control of the field. He will get to decide when we go. Waits for him to get to the restart zone. And in just a moment, green flag is out. Oh, look at that big jump. I felt like a slow restart. We don't have the ability to see the speeds here. Something off. We might want to look at that later if we can, or have race control look at it, but we'll wait and see. So here's the scary part for me. Hewlett now calls 9 car pitting in. You start at the front, you got to get down there, and he's going to safely. He's just hoping by staying out, I think, that you kind of minimize how much time you're going to lose by pitting from the front of the field versus the back of the field. Now here comes the field. Now they're running down John Sheen. Here comes Tyler Smith. He wants the lead back. And he and others, himself, Harrington, Dominics, and others. This car says Castleberry. Yellow's out. I don't know what Castleberry. I don't know how Castleberry got in that spot. Boy. I don't know how he got in that spot. I don't know how he missed that spot. I don't know how he missed the other cars. You just watch this again. What's going to happen? I'm going to find out. Who was that? Definitely in contact down pit road. I have an argument to avoid. I heard someone call a number. I want to confirm it in the broadcast before I say it. If we can back that replay up and see. I heard a number being called out. The Hertz rent-a-car in the middle of your screen. That's the 99. Yeah, that's not the car number I heard called out, so that's why I'm glad I waited. That's Kevin Burns, who made the contact. Now, the number I heard called out, I'm curious why that may have been. So let's wait and see what happens again. Oh. No surprise there. Who's at fault? That is the 99. Boy, oh boy. The car number called out in the race was the 100. If we could back it up to just as the caution's coming out, we're going to find out the 100 has got a couple of people upset with him for his braking, quote unquote. What do you going to say? We can probably play it at full speed. Watch here. Watch what's going to happen. He's going to come barreling in. Watch if we can see the caution lights anywhere on the track and see when that's going to happen. But caution's out here. I mean, it's got to be out by now. And there's a car, and he's just barreling on through. That's Mike Preston. Remember, he's already been involved in 2 incidents tonight and nearly clobbered Travis Hunt. All right. Well, here we are, quickly working our way through this race. Let's see who we can maybe have a conversation with and see what's going on. Let's go a little deep in the field if you don't mind. Let's do something a little different here. And one moment here, I'm going to grab. Let's do something different. We're going to do this quickly. We're approaching 1 to go here. That's what we'll do next time. Next time we're going to grab it. We're going to grab word with league admin Jason Rushing and see how he's feeling about tonight's race. At 1 to go, I won't start the interview, but we'll definitely do that next time. Bye. Travis Hunt in the 40 is lodging his complaint with race control, by the way, about the 100. And even if there's not contact, I get why Hunt's frustrated. Like, the caution's out. So, I get it. I mean, when you're on... Sorry, there's chatter in my ears. But yeah, when you're Travis Hunt, the cars come up that fast under caution, that gets you heated. I get it. Like that's something we could possibly address a little bit. All right, well, here we go. Let's rack it up. John Sheen's your leader. Tyler Smith's in second. Harrington, Dominic's, and Justin McCurdy, your top 5. Here we go, 38 to go. And let's see if this can stay under green. The league admins are pushing that way, saying, hey guys, I want to see it go green. Had a good first run. They're hoping to get a good last run in as well. Thanks for hanging out on a Thursday night. Let's get ready and let's go. Green flag racing at Charlotte. This is another big wreck at Charlotte. Big 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 cars involved. Blevins again, by the way, went right on around the top. He's got the master of avoiding that wreck. Well, there goes the pace truck as well. Let's wait and see what's going to happen here and what's going to happen on the restart. I think it's going to start on right around Tyler Smith. We'll see maybe what caused what here. Smith up top. We'll just play it from here. And I don't know. That's going to be close for race control to decide if Smith comes down. Oh, if Harrington comes up, but then Smith clobbers Blake Ward into the wall. And look at this. I mean, there's just multiple cars piling in from here. Ugh. Larry Blair's involved in that. The 23's and down in there. Got a car going backwards on the track, trying to get away from the wreck. Yeesh. Wow. Well, that's bringing the caution out once again. Let's watch it again. I don't know. I mean, without different, that's going to take a lot of slow-mos, a lot of looks, race control. Boy, who was that that got up in the air? Was that the 24. Caught air just from the transition, the track change. That's Jeffrey Petty. Caught that bit of air. Let's see if we can see a. Let's watch the look from Blevins. By the way, I just mentioned. I remember he avoided that wreck earlier. Watch him do it again here. He's just going to stay up top. We're going to go green. Kind of start to see the wreck forming up ahead. Caution, caution, caution. Pile up, pile up, pile up. Blevins just kind of waits. Just I'll back it up, and I'll drive on through. So. The call from race control, contact between the 1 and the 6 is deemed to be a racing incident. No penalty here on this caution. Well, lots of cars will need to come down pit road. This league does have a fast repair available, a free car in the garage, if you will, for all drivers. Lots of drivers will probably need to use that this time by. Well, I promised it last time, and let's do it this time. From Rabbit Hole Motorsports, let's go and welcome in league admin Jason Rushing. Jason, it's been quite the race tonight.
Yeah, it's been pretty eventful, man. We're hanging in there, though.
So, I had a great first run. Obviously, I had a very long, maybe 30, 40 lap run in the beginning. And then we've had maybe run some difficulties here. So, what's the message to the drivers from here on out?
Well, I keep telling them, the emotions and the tempers, they get high, and it definitely affects your racecraft. And so I just keep coming on the radio and telling these guys, take a breath, give it a couple laps to spread out. Let's get some room to work. That's what we need. Get some room to work, and we're going to finish this thing out there in the green. The tempers are definitely high. So if I can get everybody to calm down and not wreck themselves out, then we'll be able to push this thing through for you guys.
So let's talk about you personally for a second. Running up in P12, a pretty solid run here so far. What's your outlook for the rest of your race tonight?
Yeah, I've been trying to exercise my patience as much as possible. When you have cars moving around you this fast, you really got to pay attention to what's going on. So, I got my own little strategy here with tires and fuel, and we're going to see how it works out. I'm kind of hoping it goes green from here out, and that's all I'm going to let out of the bag.
Fair enough. Well, we'll put you back down with your Rabbit Hole teammates. Good luck the rest of the race.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you at the green flag.
See you at the green flag. All right, this is Jason Rudd. Go ahead and put him back down with his teammates and thank him for his time doing the interview. Say there's been a bit of a debate here, by the way, between race control and a couple of drivers about the decision of racing incidents. So that'll get a thorough post-race review, I'm pretty sure. It's John Sheen, Jonathan Dominics, Harrington, Doug Ivey, and Willie Smith, your top 5. Fred Chase back in P6. That was a driver who led in this race. Would love to see him back up front here with 30 to go. John Sheen leads the field. He steps on the lap pedal, and the green flag comes out. We've made it on to the back straight. A couple cars moving around. Right now, Michael Harrington does lead the race in that Budweiser car. Now has a couple of 2 wide racing packs behind him. He's got Willie Smith, and it's Chase and Sheen side by side. Dominics and Ivy side by side. You got Corey Moore and Ryan Castleberry back there as well, fighting side by side in the back of your screen. So lots of battles happening here in the top 10. Something of note here, by the way, we're now still about 29 to go under green. I'm not sure that anyone, for the most part, is done pitting. So expect more pit stops needed unless there's a bunch more cautions. Just FYI. There you see Tyler Smith in the back of your shot. Went ahead and used his fast repair. Get that car back on track. There is his teammates in the black and purple. So a couple of those Highline Racing cars trying to win here in the Highline Racing 150. And you see the 3 of Aaron Ingersoll was up top. That was something he really worked with his teammates at Larry Blair and others pre-race and trying to teach Aaron the value of running the Highline here at Charlotte and trying to track out up against the outside of the track and work on that. So you see the 3 car up top here. He's got a bunch of cars below him Can he get tracked out properly? I think he does. Yeah, does a pretty good job there. So something I know his teammates are working with him on and having a good run. I mean, this is a tight battle back here, by the way. This is Aaron Ingersoll on back. This is 14th back here, probably about 20th. It's Austin Oliver, Justin Day, Ingersoll, Michael Weaver, Blake Hewlett's back there, Justin McCurdy's back there, Brian Cook, Lee Gatman is back there as well. It's almost a close contact there with the 3, but it got away, so that's a good call. Now the lap starting to tick down quicker and quicker. 26 to go. Last time by 25 to go, and the leaders cross the line this time by. You see the 99 up top. That's Kevin Burns. Had that one incident earlier, but a good, clean race overall. For the most part, there's the 2 of Michael Weaver on the bottom, by the way. Michael, part of Queen City Motorsports. Remember, they ran those Cincinnati Reds paint schemes at Bristol due to the baseball game was going to happen at Bristol later in August, so they were kind of promoting their home city that way. Oh my gosh, there's Brian Cook down pit road, by the way. Boy, that was a tight squeeze right there. And black flag for Brian Cook. Not sure what for, but we'll go ahead and serve that apparently and see what comes of that. Let's go and see what happened to Brian Cook. I was trying to stare at it and figure it out. Don't quite have. That's him coming down pit road. Is the black flag going to be for speeding? Only I can imagine. There's been nothing called in the radio from race control. So the mystery for the 87 likely puts him at least a lap down, if not 2, this late in the race. We'll see what happens here. Again, remember though, no one's done pitting, I would think. So we'll wait and see. Maybe that can come back around and work in Cook's advantage when the stops do eventually happen and where he may land on the finishing results. This back up front though, this is Fred Chase, this is Willie Smith, this is Michael Harrington, third to first in those name orders. Chase, of course, led earlier in this race, would love to get back up there and lead again. That's Doug Ivey, by the way. He's trying to hold off John Sheen. Jonathan Dominick's in the Canadian car, Ryan Castleberry in the Hertz Renner car, and Corey Moore back there getting close to the wall in P8. I do want to thank everyone for hanging out here live with Green Flag TV. We're not done this week or this weekend with some racing action. Tomorrow night, we'll be able to join Nolan Rempel with the Bolt Racing League. They're going to take the next-gen cars out to the Chicago Street Course. That'll be exciting. Saturday night, Sim Racing Association takes their ARCA Blitz Series out to Talladega. Then on Sunday, we have a new league premiering for the boys. They're going to take the old Cara tomorrow for the spin. That's going to be exciting to watch. Nolan Ripple on the call at the same time. I'll be on the call for the Blazing Pedals ARCA Series. They're going to be racing the old version of Atlanta. So all weekend long, if you subscribe to Green Flag TV on YouTube, you'll see some exciting racing action. And you'll see it all next week. Well, maybe not next week. We'll have some breaks next week for the holidays, but we are now 7 days a week. We are live at some point, so please do hang out and then join us here on the channel. There's Fred Chase trying to avoid the car to smack the wall. That was Willie Smith. Smith now digs to the bottom, trying to get around Smith, but as they're doing this, Michael Harrington has a chance maybe to pull away here as we come to 19 to go at the line. Looking on back from Michael Harrington here. See the speeds to the corners, about down to 160. He gets back on the pedal here. Solid run is now they're signed up single file behind him. That's what Harrington does not want. Harrington would love for Willie Smith and Fred Chase to get involved in a battle just like this one right here and to see if maybe something can happen like this. This is P13. That's Justin McCurdy. That's Justin Day in the black and purple. Then you got, I believe, Blake Hewlett's behind him with Kevin Burns. And pit stops are starting because I just heard a pit call from the 40 car. Travis Hunt will be pitting this time by, so that may start. I mean, our pit cycle, oh boy, are not too far from starting as McCurdy just scrubbed the wall out of turn 4. And you see the 40 and that Tabula Rasa Esports black and blue, the electric blue, the Logitech blue, whatever you want to call it, it's going to come down pit road. By the way, this is the ruling slow pace speed, by the way. Under green flag conditions is 55. On your pacing under yellow, it's only 45 on pit road. So that 45 miles an hour compared to what they're doing on track, somewhere between 160 to 180, 190. That is incredibly slow. Michael Harrington of the 6 is going to pit this time. So the pit stops are now kicking off. We knew this had to happen. We knew there was no one had the gas to make it. There's a car behind Harrington. Let's watch this. Does that Mountain Dew machine get out of the way? No, he's going to pit with him. They're going to come down together. My goodness, that Mountain Dew machine, I thought maybe caught speeding, but does appropriately get that thing down there. And all is good. That's Willie Smith in the Mountain Dew machine, by the way. 75. Indeed, that is Willie Smith. So you see that coming there. Hunt's going to come off of pit road. A little bit of traffic. And this time by, it's going to pick up. I heard the 52s coming in, and more will come down lap by lap for what should be our final pit stops of the night. I just saw a car briefly spin on entry. That's Joshua. Well, who is that? Is that Doug Ivey in the 55? Yeah, it's Doug Ivey spun on the pit entry. So I'm going to check this reports. No speeding penalty. Typically when someone spins like that, you might get yourself an unsafe pit entry or a speeding call, but nope. On the brakes too hard. And that Cavco machine hit the wall. Oh, he has been given a black flag now. Is that an incident point penalty? Either, yeah, or maybe he got caught speeding coming down pit road, because that made no sense. At least why, well, I say no sense, I mean no sense he got it that late, just for those that don't want to confuse the comment. But yep, more coming this time by. You see Steven Lingers on pit road, Bridger Webb's coming this time by, and the Liquid Death. Ice-T, there he is in 66 coming to the bottom of the track. He is gonna, he said he was pitting. Maybe either he missed the entrance or he changed his mind, I'm not sure. But yeah. Maybe decided with the traffic around him, he better try it next time by, because he made the call. I heard it by ears, but went ahead and moved on. Now he's got a car in the bottom. Boy, look at this big mass of cars right here. Everyone, some pitting in, some pitting out, some on new tires, some on old tires. This is when the race can get messy right here. This is when it gets a little scary. Let's see what can happen. There's a couple cars down pit road. All seems good. Here's the 15 on track. There's Jonathan Dominics on pit road. So right now through the pit cycle, see on the top of your left screen, Ryan Castleberry, Art Milne, Michael Weaver, Corey Moore, Justin Day are top 5. None of those cars have pitted yet this time by, so they are not going to maintain the lead forever. Currently the first car on track to have pitted, well, Dominic's is on pit road in P14. I think Fred Chase back in P16 would be the first car to have pitted. So if this cycles through, we'll see if Fred Chase can take the lead or who cycles on around when that moment happens. Castleberry, by the way, last pitted on lap 65. If we go with the estimate about 30 laps to a fuel tank, he could run this to about lap 95. He would be only a couple of laps short. He may be hoping for a late yellow that kind of levels the playing field. If you're Ryan Castleberry, remember, involved in that big wreck earlier, went back and used his fast repair. And now we'll see if he could possibly put himself in a good spot. Finish of the race. This is a battle on track. This is Blake Ward on back, 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's Ward of McCurney, Kevin Burns, Steve Blevins, by the way, in the mellow yellow car, a little bit further back. This is a good mix of lead lap and lap down traffic. There's the 99. He's going to pit this time by. So that car will slow down in the back of your screen. Oh boy, that's close. That's McCurney up in the wall, or not. There's going to cause a big traffic jam. That's the 24 that scrubbed the wall. Is that Sheen up above you, maybe? Boy, that was close. Watch it again here. Let's see the onboard view. See the contact with the green car down below. That's Fred Chase, I do believe. And then everyone got saved. Maybe just a couple cars coming up pretty fast here. Everyone got through. Everyone worked it out just fine. Cars down pit road. That's Kevin Burns. We see he's done with the stop. Remember, Castleberry right now under attack, less than 0.3 of a second back to Michael Weaver. So if you're Castleberry, you can't save fuel here, right? Because that's your 2 car. That blue and red car behind you is the guy chasing you down. If you're Castleberry, you're kind of hoping you could have found yourself a lead where you can maybe lift in the corners, save some gas, hope for something good to happen. But when you got Weaver and Justin Day behind you as you do, that is not a possibility. As of right now, Fred Chase is the leader of the cars that come down pit road. He's in P14. He is a lap down. But as this pit cycle continues, we'll see if he can find his way back in front. And here's the good news for Castleberry. If he only needs about 5 laps of gas, he might be able to come down and splash and go that tank at the very end and see what he could get. You know, how much time can he save on pit road? That may be a thought for Castleberry. Michael Weaver's almost in the same spot. He's actually could maybe go a little bit longer. Michael Weaver last pitted lap 69. If we use that 30 lap estimate, Michael Weaver might only be a lap short on gas. If that's the estimate we're using, we'll have to wait and see. We've not really been able to test a run tonight to see how long these things can actually last under green. But if you're Michael Weaver, what I would probably be doing is I'd be behind someone. I'd be drafting, I'd be lifting, I'd be doing everything I could to save gas unless I just thought there's no way possible that I could save enough that I would be here. Pit stops will continue. The PBR car of Corey Moore will pit this time by, as will the 15 of Art Mills. And those cars will hit the pit tag on the ticker up in the top left of your screen in just a moment here. This is Michael Weaver's now taking the lead. And they're about to run down to 20 in just a moment here. But now it's Michael Weaver to the front. Is Justin Day, Ryan Castleberry, your top 3. That 20 car, cool story here, by the way. That 20 car is using his clutch. He is trying to fuel save. That 20 car, by the way, is Josh Rebel. Rebel is trying to do something different, trying to see if he can be about. He's trying to see when Josh Rebel pit last. Lap 60. Now, he might be just running it out of gas because there's a, yeah. By the way, here we are, 2 to go. I talked about fuel saving. We're just about there. Michael Weaver's up front. 2 to go in this race. And can Weaver do it? Can Day do it? Can Castleberry do it? Can anyone make it on gas? This would be a long run for all of them. Right now, Michael Weaver must feel good because he's leading the field. Or come around this time. This is the white flag. 1 to go at Charlotte. Tick, tock for Weaver, for Day, for Castleberry. The clock is ticking, not just in the race, but on that fuel tank. Can they make it? Right now, Mike Weaver in that 2, the Queen City Motorsports machine under attack by Justin Day. Day gets the back of him. He moves him side by side through the corner. It's going to come down turn 4, and Justin Day is going to win at Charlotte. .32, Ryan Castleberry out of fuel at the line. Boy, oh boy. A couple nights ago, I remember Nolan Rimple and I had a conversation about if you wanted to pull a bump and run iRacing, what would be the best way to do it? That's got to be, well, maybe not appreciated, but one of the best looking bump and runs I've seen in iRacing in a very long time. Wow, let's watch this burn out. That I'm hoping we get another look at that bump and run. That's one of the cleanest moves I've seen in a long time in iRacing. Well, if you're Justin Day, you have reason to celebrate. You have won the race. Your team sponsored the Highline 151 by a Highline Racing driver who made it last on gas. Let's go back and watch this move again. This is going to be down through turns 3 and 4. Day just digs it in here. Does a great job. This is going to be after the fact. We'll need to back the replay up again to find the moment here. This will be the lack of displeasure, I think, that YouTube is showing. Watch this here. This will be down through the corner. This is out of turn 2. We'll keep it right here. This is down to the back straight. Weaver's getting a big draft. Day is getting a big draft, sorry, off of Weaver. And right there, just a small tap. Barely gets him sideways. Also, look at that. Second place came through as well, I believe, right there. 97. That was maybe a bit of lap car there. I apologize. That was not second. That was lap car. Watch it again one more time. Let's watch it on board. It's a big run. Down through. Backs up the first time. Makes a tap the second time. Two slides out a little bit. On through he goes. The race break. That 97 was a lap car. That's Steven Linger, by the way. That was not for P2. That was Linger just trying to get in there and maybe hope for something. I don't know what. Well, let's take this moment here. Let's go and take a look at tonight's unofficial finishing results from Charlotte. Obviously, as not a surprise, Justin Day is your winner by 0.2 of a second over Michael Weaver. Ryan Castleberry bounces back to come back in P3. Blake Hewlett up in P4. Blake Ward's in P5 with Stephen Blevins, Mike Presley, Justin McCurdy, Michael Harrington, and Josh Revel running at your top 10. P11's Tyler Smith, one lap down with Fred Chase, Jason Rushing back in P13, talked to him earlier, John Sheen and Willie Smith running your top 15. Then it's Jonathan Dominics, Art Milne, Jeffrey Petty, Brad Gee, and Corey Moore back through P20. All these cars one lap down due to that late pit strategy. P21st Joshua Holt with Kevin Burns, the last car one lap down. P22 is Roger Thomas with Austin Oliver, Larry Blair, Doug Ivey, Steve Linger, Bridger Webb, Travis Hunt, and Aaron Ingersoll. These are cars we had a hard time finishing or finished way back in the field. The 12 of Russell Heaton, Brian Cook, Jacob Watson, Terrence Murphy, John Milnes, and Patrick McFarland back in P36. And that rounds out the 36 car field at a look top to bottom at tonight's finishing result. Well, I said it was fitting. Let's see if we can find our race ranking. Celebrate. Let's see if we can find Justin Day and bring him up to the broadcast booth. I believe for the first time this season, we talked to Justin Day as a race winner. Justin, that was an incredible move in 4. What did that feel like from the car perspective?
Oh man, it's incredible. You know, I didn't really want to get into him too bad, but you know, in this last lap and the win's on the line, you know, you do what you got to do.
So it looked like he kind of backed out of it the first time, and then he kind of lunged a little harder the second time. Were you trying to avoid the contact? Were you intending to bump and run, or what was in your mindset there?
I was trying to be as patient as I can. I tend to rush things, and you know, I just wanted to wait for my window. Honestly, I wish that pass at the end was a little cleaner. It would have felt a little better to me, but I'll take a win. It's always nice.
Well, it's appropriate in some ways that a Highline racing driver wins the Highline 150. Take a second and tell the audience about Highline Racing and what you guys do.
Honestly, I just joined in this league and we all teamed up, but it's been a good experience so far. We're all just new and fresh and strangers to each other, but we've all helped each other out in certain areas where we need it, and tonight it showed it worked.
Fair enough. Well, listen, great run tonight. Next week, we go back to the mile racing, a little shorter track. I believe we're going to Dover next week. What's your outlook for Dover?
I've honestly never drove Dover. We'll see how it goes. Be a lot of practicing this week, getting it down.
Fair enough. Well, congrats on the win. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Shout out to the Highline team for all the support and help, and shout out to the family watching, and everybody else. Shout out to the host of the league. It's been a fun journey so far. Excited for the rest of it.
There you go. Listen, congrats on the win. Congrats on the performance tonight, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, that is Justin Day. Well, now we're going to go from talking with the man who took the win to the man who was in the lead coming into turns 3 and 4, Michael Weaver. Michael, a little bit of a heartbreaking situation, I have to assume.
Yeah, pretty disappointing. I had a perfect entrance into 1 and 2, drove it a little hard into 3 and 4, and left just the slightest bit underneath. And I mean, I'm not happy about what happened, but I don't know that I blame him. Good win for the 1-on-1.
So we saw the little bit of the post race. Sometimes from a driver that means good job. Sometimes that means I'm a little not happy. Do you care to share with us, or do you want to keep that secret about what that contact meant post-race?
Just a little unhappiness. Nothing too serious. Just a little Doran.
Fair enough. Well, this is a beautiful paint scheme, by the way. I do want to say that. I know obviously you're a little bummed, but this paint scheme is just is bright. It's bold in the night time. Obviously, a representative of Queen City Motorsports. Tell everyone what this paint scheme is who may not know.
Yeah, so Grippo's is a potato chip in Cincinnati. My teammate Terry Murphy was running the barbecue Grippo's car, so it's just cool to represent the city of Cincinnati.
A former Ohio native, I'd ask this. I mean, nothing to like 98% of those watching at home. Are we getting like a Gold Star chili or a Skyline chili paint scheme at some point?
So we have the Cincinnati Chili Bowl coming up in Phoenix in 4 or 5 weeks, so you'll have to wait till then.
That's not real chili. You do know that, right? That's not real chili.
We can debate it next time. Next time I win a race, we'll debate it.
If it goes on top of spaghetti, it's not chili. Michael Weaver, that's all I'm telling you.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, not the finish you wanted, but still a great pleasure watching your race tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
To my wife, who lets me do this. She just came from the hospital, and everything's good now. But thanks to her, thanks to any family watching, and I hope all the fans liked this one. It was a little bit cleaner than we're used to, and a good finish. I'm sure that was fun to watch. So, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next week.
All right, Derek, have a good one.
Thank you. That is Michael Weaver in the 2. And now we talk to the driver who had one of the scariest slides and contacts early in the race, able to recover and finish P3. Ryan Castleberry, you went for a heck of a ride tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I got spun out there at the beginning on lap 1. We all bunched up, and I had nowhere to go, so I sent her down in the grass, and I said, let me just keep it calm, and took it to the back in hopes to redeem myself.
So your best finish of the season so far at Charlotte, able to avoid a couple of the big wrecks. Was that just the mentality all night, just to kind of hang back and let stuff happen, or did it just kind of come to you?
I feel like it was a mixture of both. There was a couple times I got involved in a couple wrecks, but nothing too major. So I kind of just had to keep telling myself, keep it cool, keep going straight, and we'll be good to go. I thought I could pull off the win there for a minute, but I was half a lap short on fuel, so third still feels good. But
so I will ask you that last question. And coming into the last couple of laps, were you just committed to the fuel strategy? Was there any chance you were ever going to make it on gas, you think?
I mean, there was a slight hope. I don't think I was going to make it. I knew I could salvage a top 5 with my fuel. I was I think to be exact, like 0.8 off, and it was really close. I had the lead there for a while, and I felt confident, but then as soon as everybody started pitting, I had to start saving in order to even make it to the end.
Fair enough. Well, listen, great job tonight. Great job of you and your Highline Racing teammates, and kind of performing in the racing sponsors. So good job there. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
Yeah, I just shout out the Highline team. It was our race tonight. We all had pretty strong performances. So hopefully we keep that momentum going into next week.
All right. Well, listen, great job. Pleasure watching your race, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Ryan Castleberry, finished P3 tonight. Well, an exciting night at Charlotte, not without its ups and downs, some contacts, some beat-up cars, some upset drivers, some tempers, and I'm sure some issues to be resolved around this beautiful 1.5 mile complex under the lights. But next week, we'll be back in the daytime as we race at the Dover Motor Speedway. So we'll see if anyone can conquer Miles the Monster, who wins the race, and what happens. That'll be 1 week from tonight. Next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live here on Green Flag TV. Once again, congrats to Justin Day, wins the race. If you missed this race, you can catch this race and every race for the Average Joe Sim Racing League here on the YouTube channel for Green Flag TV. For Nolan Rimple pushing the buttons behind the scenes, I'm Derek Watson saying good night, thank you for watching, and congrats to Justin Day.